Hello, everyone.
Hear me. Hello. Awesome. Everyone. Now, hello? Yay. Okay, now I can't hear you, but that's okay. Um, I guess what's happening is I just wanted to let you know. First of all, welcome. Thank you for coming. It's Wednesday. I'll just repeat myself. I don't know what you heard and what you didn't. It's 4:20. I am not a stoner, although I did once eat the green Christmas tree cookies at my stoner friend's holiday party. And that's what happens when you're just a glutton and you want to eat and you walk into someone's house and you just start feeding your face full of cookies. And turns out that they were pot cookies. And I sat on a chair for 16 hours straight, didn't move, didn't go to the bathroom, like a complete zombie. And it was a holiday party. It wasn't like a kid's, teenage 20s, 30s parties. Kids were running by and streaks were following them. Like I was at some Pink Floyd concert. So I just want to have a good time tonight. Jenny may or may not be able to join us. She's in Los Angeles and she's very funny, the very hilarious Jenny Johnson. I was very excited to have her. You guys, if you don't know her, you have to look her up. She's got an amazing Twitter and Instagram presence. So funny, starting stand up, opening for some really amazing comics like Nick Swartzen and my fave Leanne Morgan. Hey, I don't really like Leanne Rhymes, so that's weird. But she may or may not join in only because there's a shortage or an outage rather in Los Angeles right now with Verizon. So it's going to turn us in a little bit direction. But if you can't be friends with yourself, who can you be friends with, right? I mean, hey, so I wanted to talk about something this week, anyway, because I was I was dealing with some things in friendships, and some friendships are long, and I've had quite a few that have lasted 30, 40 years. I just went to Florida and hung out with five of my best friends that we've been friends since we were 4 years old. Um, but at what level, when you catch up with your friends, should NDAs be available? I mean, at some point, I think not everything needs to go on Instagram or Facebook. There are some pictures of me that I find quite horrendous. All right. And if they were really my friends, they wouldn't post them. I do that joke in my act right now that's saying that women really don't support other women because they only fix themselves with the beauty app and they leave their friend hanging. And you know what? It came to life. They left me. I look like the troll that crawled up out of the hole in some of their pictures. And I'm like, if you love me, you would take that down. I don't have to ask you to take it down, but if you really loved me, you would take it down. Of course, I never asked them because you know what? I've noticed that no matter what, at each age, you will go back and find a picture of yourself that you didn't like at the time. I just had an ex send me a picture of myself in a bikini. And I remember taking that picture, being very nervous about my thighs. I see that picture now, and seriously, I said I would punch a nun to have that body again. Meta, Facebook took it down because they said it had a threat of violence. But, that's just how I talk. I would obviously not punch a nun if I didn't do it in elementary school. I'm certainly not going to do it now. Plus, I don't think you can really find nuns. There's very few left. Maybe it's the haircut. Maybe it's the clothes. I don't know exactly what it is, but they're not around a lot. So nice to see some of you here. It's great to It's awesome, awesome, awesome to see you. Thank you for joining. I thought what I'd do, since we don't have Jenny, I thought, let's talk about if you have some questions and you want to come up, I'll give you my honest advice. I'll give you my honest opinion about things. If you remember a couple weeks ago, I talked about a family member sent me a friend request, a toxic family member who I do a lot of jokes about, sent me a friend request after a year and a half of not speaking. And I said, something's up, right? And sure enough, he's living with me now because his wife and he aren't getting along. So I knew it right there. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. But what I am telling you is that I try. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to share something with you about me that I've never shared with anyone. But since we're doing this and we're friends, this is July 19th, 1994. See this book? This holds, you know how Joan Rivers had them neatly typed and indexed? That's because she had thousands and thousands and thousands, millions more dollars than me for assistance. I have notebooks, and I'm going to show you one of the very first jokes I ever read. I quit my job at the radio station on July 6th after the Janet Jackson concert because we were hosting the Janet Jackson concert, so I had to stay for that. But here's the first joke that I wrote. Speaking of nuns, I said I went to a Catholic high school where girls had to kneel every day to make sure that their skirts touched the floor for the nuns. The boys had to kneel for the priests, but that's a different story. And then I got kicked out of Catholic school. So I thought I'd just read you guys that. I thought that was cool. I saw that today. Does anybody want to talk about anything? I'm totally here. There's so many things that are going on in the world. It's amazing to me that friendships are being rekindled and lost. It's not just me, okay? I noticed that with the Ben and Jen, the Jennifer Lopez, Ben, whatever his name is, Matt Damon's best friend. They're back together. Things happen. People come in and out of your lives at different times. And I don't know about anything about Mercury and retrograde or any of that kind of stuff, but I will tell you something freaky is happening. So what I do when I'm not sure about what is happening in the world, for me, I do read the Bible. I am a Christian, but more than that, this is what I read. SunTzu, The Art of War. This book has everything you need to know about every single purpose of your life. And I'm going to break down to you the 9 variables in case, if you don't have anything to do, let's talk about it because it'll help you. If I can motivate you right now, since we're not interviewing anyone. By the way, I'll tell you one thing about Jenny. Even though she's not here, I was so impressed because this girl has sold 3 pilots in Hollywood to ABC, Fox, and I want to say HBO. That's amazing. That's almost unheard of. So really check her out, Jenny Johnson. You can check her out. She can't check you out right now because her internet is down. But let's talk about the 9 variables from Sun Tzu. The first one, it says, in general, the system of employing troops is that the commander receives his mandate from the sovereign to mobilize people and assemble the army. Now, okay, what they're saying in The Art of War is that all things can relate to your daily life. So the commander, that's you, that's me. Employ your troops. Get your shit together. Get your people, snatch it up, get who you need on your side, whether it's your friends, whether it's your partners in life, whether it's a manager, agent, if it's your coworkers, get your crew, okay? That's what he's saying. And make sure that mandate from the sovereign, move from your heart. Move from your heart, not your mind, but move from your heart because you are the sovereign. Know exactly what you feel and where you feel comfortable and set your boundaries. All right. Number 2 in the 9 variables from The Art of War. You should not encamp in low-lying ground. Now, look, of course, in war, you wouldn't encamp in low-lying ground. Why would that be? Well, number 1, you'd get wet, right? So you can't sleep in a wet sleeping bag. That's how you get sick. That's how your troops catch different diseases. You don't want someone to come up from the hill and come down on you. And it's not good in war, but it's not good in life either. don't encamp in low ground. If you get to low ground, and we all do, keep moving. Don't stop. Don't go to sleep. Don't set up your camp. Don't cook your hot dogs. Get out of the low-lying ground. Keep moving, okay? Just keep swimming, Dory. All right, number 3 in the 9 variables of Sun Tzu's Art of War. In communicating with the ground, unite your allies. Well, that's it. Figure out who's on your side. You have your team, but some people don't have to be in your immediate circle to be your ally. There are people that right now are moving things for your good that you're not even thinking about. Someone somewhere right now is mentioning your name to someone else for a job, for a better position, maybe for a relationship. Someone is recommending you. Unite your allies, okay? Remember that, because it's always hard. We sometimes tend to, I'm a comic. I will focus on my enemy. I will focus on that one person who's not laughing. 300 people in the room are laughing, but the 301st person is sitting there like this. And sometimes I'm like, what is going on? If I can see that person and I have to remind myself, who cares? I got all these other people. Focus on your allies. Okay. Number 4, you should not linger in desolate ground. Well, look, you got to figure out what your goals are. If your goals are not being met, you got to figure out a way to create a new goal, move around it. Look, I do stand up. I think for the most part, I'm good at it. I don't know if I'm great at this yet. We're going to figure this out. We're going to figure these shows out. I want to be great at everything I do. So sometimes I don't do it because it's not as good as I want it to be. And I don't know how to start in that, B, C, if you're grading, level. But you have to give yourself a chance. And if you give yourself a chance long enough and it's not really for you, which you'll know, and if you're honest with yourself and you're sovereign, then you move on. Get out of desolate ground, okay? It doesn't mean that there isn't something else, but not everybody has to be great at everything, okay? Number 5, in an enclosed ground, resourcefulness is required. Well, come on, brothers and sisters. Of course we have to be resourceful. Look at what happened during the whole COVID thing, right? Look what happened. Who knew? Half people thought Zoom, when I was a kid, Zoom was a TV show. They had Electric Company and Zoom, all right? And they used to sing and dance and all kinds of stuff. You have to be resourceful. You have to know that if your house is dirty, take a picture of it when it's clean and use that as your background, all right? We have to be resourceful. Do with what you have. All my life, I would go up and down in my adult life, whether I was financially solvent or not. However, I never allowed it to affect how I dressed. How? Because I went to thrift stores and shopped for the quality garments before the whole world did. Now you guys have ruined it for me, all right? You ruined it for me because everybody's there pulling the stuff and then trying to resell it. But somehow I was able to figure it out. That's what we do. Be resourceful, okay? All right, SunTzu. SunTzu probably wasn't talking about thrift stores, but if you interpret it, you read the book, interpret it your way. 6, in death ground, fight. That's what it says, see? In death ground, fight. Fight. Don't give up. No matter what. You don't know just because it's where you feel like you are at your end. When things happen, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, a work environment. Right now, I'll be honest with all of you, I am in the fight of my life for my career. I am struggling constantly because I am 52 years old in an industry that doesn't want an old woman, that doesn't want a woman who doesn't live in Hollywood or New York, that doesn't want someone who's not filthy dirty, that doesn't want someone who may or may not have had chances. But I'm in the fight of my life, and you're going to have to kill me to make it not work. I'm going to make this work to whatever, because you have to keep pushing through. Okay? What else? That's real. Sorry, those are real, but I don't give up. I just don't, unfortunately. That's why when I was a kid, my nickname, I always call people nicknames in my act and talk about my brother Cockeye and my brother To-Do. Those were their real nicknames. But my real nickname long before the movie was Rocky because I had a hard head. My father used to say, she has a head like a rock. And because I just wouldn't take no for an answer. Let's see, number 7 in Sun Tzu's Art of War. There are some roads not to follow, some troops not to strike, some cities not to assault, and some ground which should not be contested. Now, I'm not always good with that. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I feel like I'm equal with some people and I try to stand my ground. And sometimes you have to know when to back up. They have a bigger PR team than you. In a relationship, there are some fights that aren't worth fighting. I mean, a marriage, you can't win there's a long standing proverb that says, do you want to be right or do you want to be alone? Some fights you just don't need to take on, even if you're right. You have to figure out what's worth fighting for. When people take time, for example, people take time to correct your grammar on social media. If you're one of those people, let it go. Knock it off. Stop. There's no point. You're wasting your time. The other person doesn't care. It's not like we're dumb. We're just busy, okay? I'm too busy sometimes. I have fat thumbs. I'm talking to text, whatever the case may be. So don't fight those fights. If someone doesn't have the apostrophe, it's your. Screw off, okay? Let that fight go, all right? We're on number 8. There are only 9 principles, okay? The 9 variables. Number 8, there are occasions when the commands of the sovereign need not be obeyed. What does that mean to you? Okay, I'll tell you what it means. Sometimes just because you want it doesn't mean you should do it, okay? I would love to wear a half shirt, but I look as big as I did when I was pregnant. I probably shouldn't do it. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. I support you if you want to do it. If you're comfortable, I'm not. Okay? I look like a squishy squish. I feel like if my grandmother was alive and I wore a half shirt right now, she'd be squeezing my belly like a Stretch Armstrong. Just because you want doesn't mean you can. All right? Do not always allow yourself to just go on your whim. Sit down, think about it, and figure it out. I want a lot of things. I want to be included. That's one of my biggest problems. I have FOMO before they called it FOMO. I always have. It's abandonment issues. So if you left me out of a birthday party, or if you forgot to invite me to your pool party, or you don't invite me to your comedy festival, I feel left out. But that doesn't mean that's right. It doesn't mean that I'm left out. It just doesn't mean that you didn't think of me or you don't love me. It just means what it means. It means that for that day, I wasn't part of it. It doesn't mean you're not part of it for life, okay? Just because you think it doesn't make it so. And number 9, here's the final of the 9 variable from SunTzu, The Art of War. A general thoroughly versed in the advantage of the 9 variable factors knows how to employ troops. Well, once you can handle yourself, you know how to handle others, right? I've taken a lot of time to work on myself. Now, that doesn't mean I always make the best choices and the right things, but there's no one more important than you. You take whatever it takes. If you have to go to therapy, if you have to read books. Before I had money for therapy, I bought every book I wanted to better myself. I wanted to elevate out of the generational curses that my crazy Italian family put on me. So I think you can do that for yourself. It will make you a better friend. It will make you a better partner. It will make you a better coworker. It will make you better, period. And that's who we do things for, right? So that's my part of that. Is anybody, we haven't heard from Jenny, and that's quite all right. We have all that stuff going on. I see all you. I see Jana. I can't wait to see you. Let me tell you a little bit about my friend over there. You see her as Solace Soul, but Jana was a person, I guess I could say that. Jana, would you want to jump on? You don't have to be on camera, but would you do audio with me? I'm going to suggest that you do some audio with me if you don't mind. Of course, my lights keep flicking in and out, so I don't know what that is. Hello, girlfriend.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. I wanted to introduce you to everyone. I want to say, what year did we meet? 2004 after Last Comic Standing?
I think so.
I think so. I'll tell everybody.
It was almost 20 years ago.
It really has been. I think, you started as, if I could say, if you don't mind, like a fan. We didn't know each other. You knew me through the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout time, we have become friends. I've met your parents. I've met your girlfriends throughout the time. It's been wonderful to know your life. And I think it's amazing where friendships begin.
100%.
I want to know from your perspective, what is it about friendships that make you so loyal? Because you are a loyal person. What is it about your friendships that you've surrounded yourself with that create such a feeling of loyalness to you?
I think it has to do a lot with, I guess, kind of like a mutual, like a mutual respect, a loyalty on both ends.
Yeah.
Kind of like, yeah.
Well, I feel like you've been amazing. You've always supported me. Years ago, when I first got started, I didn't know what kind of career I would have. I wanted to pull this. I'll show you guys something. So in my big notebook, I'm about to go back November 12th. I'm playing my hometown Cleveland, which has not really always been. It's weird. I haven't played Cleveland in years because the comedy clubs that I started at, the Hilarities and Improv, haven't really had me back. They have my big picture on the wall, but in 1997, the Cleveland Plain Dealer, of course, we didn't have a lot of we had colored paper back then because whatever. I was so excited to be in it, and I was opening for Jimmy Walker. And here's my first line. I feel like you followed me since then. Opening the show was Clevelander Tammy Pescatelli, whose biting, peppy routines warmed up the audience as well. That was my big thing. So, but you have always been so kind to me and sweet. And, I just always wanted to thank you for that. I hope that I make you laugh. Your friendship is invaluable.
Thank you for that.
Really, really has been. And my father loved you.
Aww, he was a great guy.
Yeah, he really was. We're going to have some fun. I'll see you, I guess I'll see you in Long Island.
Yeah, May 13th.
May 13th. Yeah, my birthday's that weekend, so we'll celebrate.
Yes, it is.
All right. Thank you so much for jumping in. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Okay. Say hi to your folks for me.
Will do. Actually, I'm down here in Florida with them now.
Oh, my gosh. It's amazing, too. I'm not going to say where, but her parents happen, for everybody listening, her parents live in one of those gated senior communities that I began to play a lot in the past couple of years. And one day I'm just going to show up my suitcase and never leave. And I'm going to squat in one of their empty houses. And
you are welcome anytime.
Well, give them my love. It's so nice to hear from you. Enjoy your spring break.
Thank you so much.
And she's a teacher, everyone. So awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else? Anybody else that would like to say hello? We can talk about things. I'll tell you another book while I'm waiting that always is inspiration. Find inspiration. If you're a true friend to yourself, find inspiration where you can. You see this book? I've had this book clearly since 1980. I, as you well know, am a huge sports fan. And I really, my biggest regret in life was that I never got to play tackle football and hit somebody. It's so calm and zen, isn't it? But here's the inspiration. The Houston Oilers, there's not even a Houston Oilers team anymore. But in 1980, this is what it says. They were talking about Kenny Stabler. Ken Stabler was their quarterback, okay? He came from the Raiders. They said, Ken Stabler, a proven veteran at quarterback, I consider myself a proven veteran, had been unhappy with the public criticism laid on him by Raiders owner Al Davis. You see, not everybody loves you. And since the end of 1978, Kenny was actually the Raiders quarterback from 78 to 80. And Al Davis, the owner of the Raiders, would go in press and insult him over and over again and blame losses on Kenny. Kenny then went to the Oilers. And you know what happened? He became the third highest quarterback in the entire league. But because you know what he had to do? He had to change perspectives. They went on to make the playoffs. Kenny was the star of the Oilers then, but he had to change perspectives. He had to plow on. He had to get out of the low ground, right? Right now I have Beth Jorgensen. Beth, I'm going to invite you to join us. I think you're going to be my last speaker. I'm going to invite you to speak. Hi, Beth.
Hi. Yes, everything you have said tonight has hit me exactly. There are friends for a season, and then sometimes you have to let them go. But then there are friends that, like you say, you can go back after 20 years, and it's like you never left. I went to a funeral Thursday and saw people I hadn't seen in 30 years, and we talked about when our kids were little, and it was like yesterday. But then there were other people that I met there that used to be friends, and it was just we said, hi, how are you? How are your kids? And that's it. And we walked away. And so it's just interesting. And I liked all the SunTzu stuff that you said. But for me and my house, our commander is God or whatever somebody's higher power is to give us the commands.
Of course.
And
you know what? You have to turn. I'm gonna Beth. I'm gonna let you go and then wrap up. So I appreciate what you say.
Okay.
And I'll answer you off the. So Beth, I love you. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for telling. I'm sorry about your friend and I'm sorry about the funeral. I'm glad you reconnected with friends. You are right. There are some people. I wish there was a different word than friend. But all I can say is that there are soul connections with some people, and some people are friends. I think I'm really upset because I think Zuckerberg ruined the word friend. I think that's why a lot of people are lonely right now, because he took a term that was used for our hearts and for our lifeblood and just made it like, just made it, hey, you're my friend. Okay, what? So you put a thumbs up, that makes us friends. It's not friends. Call those people at 3:00 in the morning for bail money. That's where 3 a.m. friend came from. I understand what you're saying about God. For me, that's the same too. Everybody has a different thing, but I also think that there are motivations that you can do for yourself because God, or whatever it is that motivates you, allows you to take yourself out of situations with prayer or with requests or meditation, whatever it is for you. Unfortunately, right now, this is a friendship kind of podcast. So I appreciate that though. And I'm winging it, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I've never not had a guest. So this is a first for me. I really have never had anything like this. So it's exciting. I did text my friend, John Heffron, if he would be an immediate guest on my show. And he just now texted me. So I just found out that Jenny wasn't available like 28 minutes before show started. So it is not her fault. You still check her out. We will have her back another time. She's very funny. Jenny Johnson opening right now for Nick Swardson or Leanne Morgan in a town near you. If you happen to be from the Cleveland area, please get tickets to come see me at the Hannah. I'm really, really excited. That's November 12th. And check out pescatelli.com for my other dates. But I can't thank you enough for tuning in with me. Be a friend to someone this week. And if you can laugh,